fast forward now. You're an Ivy League grad, and you're now working with a hip hop star. How did that happen?
I almost feel like sometimes I'm working for, just because Tariq is so larger than life. I grew up, obviously listening to hip hop and that sort of stuff. So the Roots were the first kind of band, the hip hop band. They were truly a group like that, and Quest or Amir and Tariq had come together. Their music was amazing. I went to school in Philly. They were from Philly, and they spawned. I mean, it's one of those kind of mafias. So many different kind of musical styles and bands, and to this day, Tariq feels like he's everybody's big brother when he walks into a room, including Jay-Z or Jimmy Fallon or anyone. So I met Tariq when Twitter had utility. Back in the day when it was a little bit of a different platform, and I no longer use it. But back then I was pretty active, and I was talking to Rich Miner, the Android man, a close friend, and we were just back and forth. He had a big following. I didn't really, but Tariq somehow butted into the conversation, totally random. And I later learned that it was actually one of his people that was doing his tweeting for him, or Xing, whatever you fucking kids call it nowadays. But
I still call it tweeting.
Yeah,
and I don't do it either.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Xing sounds a little weird, but so I ended up being like, is that Tariq? Is that Black Thought from the Roots? And so I ended up sliding into his DMs like a creep. And just said, you're probably not even going to read this, but my name is blah, blah, blah. Would you come to, do some stuff at Harvard? Would you come and talk to some kids about you coming up in a fireside chat or something like that? To my surprise, he said, yeah. So it got sponsored, and he came down and he gave this talk to 50 people. Like, we had a standing room only type thing. Like, all sorts of people wanted to show up. It was a big hit. He dropped his first real viral freestyle there.
Wow.
It was the one before Funkmaster Flex, the epic 14-minute one. And Tariq and I just became the oddest of friends. Truly, it's like a Disney characters, right? Like Timon and Pumbaa, or just weird bedfellows.
And had he been an investor prior to?
Yeah, so Tariq.
So
at that point, Tariq was really just kind of saying not what's next, because he's been at the Fallon show since 2009 or something like that. But he was more just thinking about what are some other things that could be interesting for my future. Mm-hmm. Tariq's like one of those athletes that's always thinking ahead, like Iguodala or something like that, or Steph Curry. So one of the things that he was looking into, he knew Nas was doing some stuff with tangentially with Ring and Pill Pack and so on and so forth. And Tariq said, okay, well, I'm going to make some investments. And we didn't talk business, or at least I went off and was running companies, and Tariq was obviously on the Fallon show. And when I finally decided to join David Brown, the man that started Impellent Ventures, my partner, who's the greatest of amongst all of us as a human being, we reached out to Tariq, being like, it would be awesome to have him as an LP, and Amir. Quest and Jimmy, and their best friends are Dave Chappelle and Lin-Manuel Miranda and the Obamas. So they're like, that'd be cool, right? That's a little bit of a weird thing that could be about Impellent. And so when we went to go meet with him in New York, he essentially just said, hey, listen, yes, but also I'd like to learn what you guys are doing. I'd like to be a partner at Impellent Ventures. And we said, well, that's a different conversation entirely, right? Clear your schedule.
Yeah.
So that's how that came to be. And I mean, Tariq's just a brother. We text every day and stuff like that. It's kind of weird sometimes though when I center myself and I'm sitting with him, because I'll be sitting with him. 30 Rock, the studio, is backstage at the Fallon show. He has his own dressing room and all that sort of stuff. It's across the. You'll be sitting there and Steve Martin will walk by, and I'm just kind of holy shit, Steve Martin asks you where the bathroom is, and stuff along those lines. So
have you ever thought to yourself okay, how do I win a Grammy?
Never. No,
okay.
No.
All right.
I'm actually usually not, I believe it or not, I have such I I don't know. My pulse stays the same at all times, so I don't really care. But seeing Steve Martin's pretty cool, like through my dad, Three Amigos and stuff. But needless to say, it's kind of like a third office for us sometimes. Like Tariq allows us to.
So it brings an entirely different network perspective to.
Oh my God!
What you see, the distribution amongst your. You call them LPs, but it really is the unfair advantage that anybody has.
You just named the three things,
yeah.
Right? Perspective is the biggest thing. Because at the end of the day, like, I am a white male. No matter how many tattoos I get, like, I have a very specific perspective, or at least, and Tariq sometimes really throws some curveballs in our IC or just in meetings saying, like, why are you thinking that way? Tariq's very quiet, by the way. He's one of those that just, he's extremely funny. But he only says something when he really feels like he should be saying something. It's almost like he's saving his words. And yeah, he just provides this amazing perspective. And exactly what you said, I just named his friends. So, if an entrepreneur is doing well and there's movement behind it, he can be very, very helpful.
So we have two hip hop captains.
I could keep going on this,
team.
but
yeah.
I won't.
Why not?
We'll save it for after.
You guys can.
Well, Nicole's she's Miss New York City / Williston, Vermont. That's sort of how she rolls.
We just brought. So we were in New York for Primaries Venture Summit, which is this big meat market of an event, and we brought 15 people to the Fallon show backstage, and then sat in the audience, and then we all went to Avra across the street afterwards with Tariq and stuff, and just had an awesome dinner, and it was
Fun.
Yeah, again, that's just super lucky, it's cool. But I'm not gonna lie, like most of the time I'd rather be home with my 4 and my 5-year-old and my absolutely gorgeous, amazing wife. So
there it is. Love it.
Me too. I love hearing that.